Thanks for listening to Middle Aged and Mediocre. I'm Cash.
I'm Joel.
And we are a podcast about all things strange and unusual, death and UFOs, and other creepy,
Cults,
weird, random
ghosts.
stories. There you go.
Yeah. No, I'm just naming things in the room.
Oh my God.
There's a cult of ghosts. Something, and like remember those guys? Like
I remember
a guy in the audience was like, "How is this guy gonna sing like this?" Because he had that like I can't even think of their song now, but it's just for like rah, rah, like that.
Stained?
Yeah, like when their first CD, bro.
Yeah, they definitely had some parts. But
yeah,
I remember them more of like I'm on the outside.
yeah, that was like
I'm looking in.
Yeah, they had that too.
I can see through you.
Just do this. I like it. See to the real you. I saw them with Korn though on the Family Values tour. But I just remember that from the concert. The guy was like, "This guy can't keep this up." My shovel, my shovel.
Oh yeah, my shovel song.
Yeah.
I definitely would prefer their first album or two to the solo shit he does now.
He's a touchy fella too. Did you see that shit where like he'll stop shows because people are talking?
For the simplest shit.
What the fuck, man? Like people are gonna talk. Like just.
Yeah. Plus you're singing like slow acoustic countryish songs. Like you're not. It's not the loudest. Plus no one respects you.
Yeah, and
Aaron, whatever your name is.
You've been tattooed by Fred Durst. So
yeah.
Fuck off.
Were like You're the Great Value brand Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
I still enjoy your music. Some of it, the first
I'm going to go back and listen to that first album.
I'm on
the outside. Is that the first one? First album?
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Mud Shovel was one of the only like really loud songs.
Well, that guy behind me at that concert didn't know how he's going to keep that shit up. And I turned around and said, well, he's going to become like a kind of borderline country star solo artist. Yeah. I'm from the future.
He like punched you in the face. Like, don't you say that about him. Why am I talking like he's a hick if then he would be mad about country? He was just afraid because you were a spaceman.
He was just afraid of intimacy, I think. Because I hugged him tight when I told him that. I whispered it in his ear.
I should have known.
Yeah, I mean, it was loud. Listen, buddy, here soon, a couple years, he's going to be a borderline country star.
God, everyone's going to love it when you yell Mud Shovel into the mic that loud.
We're not really recording this.
Yeah, we're recording all this. This is all the intro. Oh,
shit.
We're live.
We just did a mic check into this.
Yeah.
All right.
The mic check turned out fine, so I figured we'd turn it on. Let's go.
I guess I was on the outside.
I guess we're probably going to get, a copyright strike.
I hope now.
We performed that song so exactly in tune to the original.
Stained is not in this room.
We're playing actual Stained songs over there right now.
Yeah, you need to understand that.
I can't understand.
They're not here.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Thanks for sticking through that.
We are. This is October 8th, 2020. COVID has not killed the president yet.
Not yet.
But I'm not going to let that ruin my day. I'm going to power through. We're back with another episode for you.
Me?
Rhymed it.
Oh, you did.
I'm a poet. What's going on, man?
I don't know.
You're alive.
Yeah, we're alive. Talking about Stained.
We were questioning whether you're going to be alive.
Yeah, I had a little brush with COVID.
Yeah.
A girl that I work with, I've never talked to her, but she works in another building, but she tested positive. So my manager called me Sunday night. She's like, hey, you can't come to work tomorrow. And I was like, oh, fuck, am I fired? Like, I was like, finally. Well, let me tell you some shit, lady. No, then she was like, COVID. So I had to go get...
she said it like...
That's how she said it, too. Like it was a party. Yeah.
Swoosh.
COVID. Yeah, so she called and said that, and that was Sunday evening. So no work Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And I had to go Monday through like a little car maze. Yeah, like because I never got out of the car. I had to just like drive around a couple of these buildings, and like people in these two ladies in hazmat suits like gave me the test, and 2 days later I had the results. I was negative, like I thought I was.
You're usually kind of negative.
I am. And I went back to work. I was pretty positive that I'd be negative.
Yeah. That was my joke.
Yeah, I know. That was a lot of people's jokes.
I wrote that one.
You did?
Especially for you.
70 years ago.
Yeah. Right. So,
or when Magic Johnson first tested positive for AIDS. I remember that joke kind of went around there.
I was barely alive then.
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
I remember I remember going to the mall and looking.
Are you calling me a joke thief?
No.
Because I'll have you know, that was an original thought.
Yeah. Like parallel thinking.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, real quick.
I don't have it.
So
you can listen to this, okay? It's okay for
COVID,
you can. You're not going to get anything from listening to this.
Yeah, like it's not going to crawl through the microphones and like worm its way into your ears.
Yeah.
Even though it might, we don't know much about it.
Technology's not there.
Before I forget, I want to say real quick, thank you to Travis Graham.
Yeah.
We have some very awesome, fucking cool, October-themed, Halloween-themed
our logo
artwork for our podcast right now. Yeah, so, like, you just asked him the other day, like, he already...
Because we talked about it, and then I was like, oh, yeah, I'll message him, and I didn't, and I didn't, and I didn't, and I didn't, and then I didn't. But then I was like, oh, yeah, I need to message him, and I did, and a day or so later.
It's awesome.
He works faster than COVID results.
He really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
and I just gave him, like, kind of like a broad picture. Yeah. I gave him, like, a technology hug through our phones. But just, I just kind of, like, I was like, something like this. And, like, I think you had something in mind, but I left it kind of vague. Yeah. But, like, you were like, but kind of so you can tell... You know, because you wanted the pumpkins to have our features. Oh, yeah, I remember you said that, and I just said pumpkins.
So you made it look like I was going to take on 3 dicks.
I didn't do that.
In the eyes, one in the mouth.
Travis knows you.
He knows me.
I think you're shocked. Knows my skills. I think that's your pumpkin face shocked at how cool you look as a pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you guys check that logo out. Our little our dead heads are like in the back, and
our heads are on spikes.
It's really cool. Awesome. Yeah, it's basically a brand new logo. I mean,
so we'll keep it through this month, and maybe, but it'll
through fall.
We dig having themed artwork.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
A lot of new people have been listening, so thank you to everyone who has been listening and who has been supporting us. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star rating.
5 stars.
And leave a review.
I mean, especially after that singing at the beginning. Like, they're going to like change it to 6 stars after that.
Yeah. I mean, that perfect rendition.
Harmony.
Of whatever that's.
We used to harmonize on the old podcast. Yeah. Every now and then.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a strict no more Randy Bone rule. He's not allowed back in here.
Yep.
But yeah, so we are bringing you a new episode, and
episode 28.
This one is another special one because Joel's bringing the story tonight.
Oh, I brought it.
You've brought, I mean...
This is my third.
This is your third, and the other 2 you've done are 2 of my favorite episodes that we've done.
Mine too, because I'm kind of an egomaniac, you know, really self-centered.
Right.
I tried to bring the one about Die Hard, but you picked up on that pretty quick.
Pretty quick. I mean, I've watched that movie a time of 1,500.
What was the name of that tower?
Check out the other 2 episodes Joel has brought the story for. The first one is titled Meet Cute.
Yep.
It's the Armin Mue's story. Spoiler alert, he eats a guy.
Yeah.
Well,
just a dick. Well, I mean, that's how he starts with the dick.
That's how it always starts.
That's how it always starts.
And
like, it'd be rude not to.
Right.
He'd be like, I'm sorry, did you not... I mean, my dick... Like, you're right, I'm sorry. Chomp, 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 chomp.
The other episode is Who Shot Ken Rex McElroy.
I'm glad you remember that. I remember, like, kind of the stuff. I was like, someone got shot. He was kind of a bad guy.
He was a real piece of shit.
Yeah, he was.
So go check out why he deserved the bullets he got.
And try to figure out who did it. Who done it.
Yeah, the whole town.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're back here with a third episode.
A third on episode 28.
That's
I don't
fine.
do this
That's
much.
a decent ratio.
I mean, that was the whole like pitch for the podcast. You're like,
You were
just
like,
show
I
up.
don't do anything?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's my favorite thing to do,
That's my
really.
favorite
And I don't
thing.
do a lot.
I'm great at it.
You do all the computer stuff, and I just show up and talk
Hey, man,
into the
but
microphone.
Tonight you showed up with a story.
Yeah,
And,
I have a lot of pages of notes.
Yeah, the last time you brought a story was like 3 pages, 4 pages. This time you have filled up like 2 notebooks.
I basically just wrote every word of the documentary.
Smart. That's how you do it.
Like, that's how I got most of this information. There's a documentary on Netflix called Tread. I watched a couple times. I did read online some stuff, too. But I just like the documentary, and I think it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it is. I've watched the documentary when it first came out on Netflix, so yeah, it is really good.
But yeah, it's called Tread, Netflix. It's a show. Do we start now? I don't do this a lot.
Right, yeah, let's get into it, man.
All right. Leave my shirt on?
That's up to you. That's
Okay.
optional.
All right, here we go. Shirt off. Marv Heemeyer is who the subject of the story. He was born in South Dakota.
Yeah, I'm Marvin Marv.
Marv. They call me Marvy Marv. Marky Mark.
I don't know why that's my.
I'm just
South
saying
Dakota
his name's Marvin, but I'm gonna call him Marv
That's
a
good.
lot. So don't get confused.
I'll try my best.
They're the same person.
Okay.
Marvin
All right.
and Marv.
And okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Heemeyer. He was born
No,
in
wait, is that a third person?
Heemeyer might be.
Right.
No, that's
Marv.
his full. Marvin
Marvin
Heemeyer, Marv, affectionately, was born in South Dakota, October 28th, 1951. And then he just joined the Air Force. I don't have a lot of information between his birth and him joining the Air Force, so I'm pretty sure like he was like 5, and they're like, "Hey man, go join the Air Force," and he was like, "All right."
He was like, "I already signed up yet?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to kind of look up some information earlier today just so I'd have like a little bit if I could.
In case I didn't.
If I could like, fill some blanks in, but there's really like we have no idea.
Yeah,
where that came from.
I mean, he had parents just because his dad does show up later. His mom, yeah, I think maybe a brother and a sister.
Yeah, he has a brother and sister because they later commented about all this.
Yeah.
So okay, so
He sounds like he was probably left-handed. Like if I'm.
It's 1951.
Yeah, 1951. Joined the Air Force, and in the Air Force, he had a knack for welding, motors, and engines. So, a real kind of handsy guy, or just good with tools and all that kind of stuff. And he was stationed in Colorado, and he really seemed to enjoy his time in Colorado because after he left the Air Force, even though his family's all in South Dakota, he decided to live in Colorado after leaving the Air Force. And he moved to Grand Lake, Colorado, and started working at a muffler shop there.
Right.
And just because of his welding and everything and just how good he was with machines and vehicles and stuff, he just raised up through the ranks of the muffler shop and then opened up his own shop.
He could put together 2 pieces of metal like no one's business.
Yeah.
Any 2 pieces of metal.
I can't even put together a sentence.
Yeah.
And this guy is just like
is working with metals.
welding.
Welding.
I do weld on a small scale. I solder glasses sometimes.
Okay, so there you go.
I like doing that. It's pretty. I have a little soldering gun that I use, a torch,
Yeah.
and it's
You're basically this guy.
I'm basically am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much known about me after I was born.
Yeah, I assume you were in the Air Force.
My dad was.
Okay, close enough.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Just call me Marv. But Marv moved to Grand Lake. And but then he opened up his business in Granby?
Granby.
I should probably have that right.
It's Granby.
Granby, Colorado, which is about 15 miles away from Grand Lake. And he got
Everything in Colorado is grand something apparently.
Yeah, it's
or
pretty
this guy only sticks to places with grand in the name.
Great Lakes, Granby.
Yeah.
Then think about that. I guess. He was a penny pitcher, Marv. He tried to save a lot of money. He was when I say I'm gonna say he was quoted as saying it's like something from the audio tapes that they play in the documentary, because right before he did what he did, he recorded himself just kind of. I guess that was the origins of the podcast. He just recorded why he was doing this, and it
was like his online blog.
He wanted people to because people are like, why would he do this? Well, he tells you, so you see it in the documentary. Yeah. But one of the things he says is, if you have a champagne income with the beer keg, you're gonna do well. And I think that was Marv. He was a penny pincher, and he got his land through an auction, actually. It was like a foreclosed property. It had the garage on there and everything like that. And he went to the auction, and the original price of it was $35,000. And Marvin ended up getting in kind of like a bidding war with the fella, and he bought it for $42,000. And one of the guys he was bidding against was Cody Docheff. He's a Granby native, lived there all his life, like fellow businessman.
Right.
And he wanted the property for a concrete plant. And when Marv got it, Marv says that Cody was upset. Marv claims that after the auction, Cody approached him and gave him a 10 to 15 minute tongue lashing.
Wow. I had to feel good.
Which, I mean, just already what you know about Marv. I can't imagine this guy standing there and just taking someone's shit.
10 to 15
yeah,
minutes.
for 10 to 15 minutes. I have a quote for what he said about Cody here somewhere. He called Cody the rudest, most arrogant person. I mean, just a fucking asshole.
Hey, you know what? I believe him.
He did make an audio recording.
Cody's last name sounds almost like douche. Right?
Docheff?
So,
Yeah.
It's like a douche-if.
But Cody says this never happened. He says he never talked to Marv at the auction. Like, after Marv got the land, he got up and left.
I don't talk to Marvs.
Yeah.
It's just a rule. I
Yeah.
don't talk to him.
Like, once they're Marvins, like, maybe, but once you get down to
But
Marv,
once you're Marv, I think you're stuck up.
I'm done.
I don't know why this is my accent for everybody in Colorado and South Dakota.
Just everywhere. But Marv, or Cody wanted it for an indoor batch plant for concrete. I guess that's some sort of concrete thing.
Right.
And, oh yeah, you're like, hey, does Marv have a girlfriend? Well, he did. Okay.
I've been wondering.
And the girlfriend described Marv as old school,
Okay.
and he did have a girlfriend. He didn't have any kids. Like I said, no family or anything. But he did have a group of friends they liked to snowmobile with.
Oh, he was old school because he was. I remember this. He was like very like hold the door open, like
Yeah.
like when he was courting her.
Yeah.
He was very I do remember that.
And it was the first person that she banged after her husband died.
Which.
Thanks Netflix for putting that there. Like,
for
were
Marv.
they fucking? Has it been a while since she's fucked? I'm like, well, here's both those answers. Like, I gotta update my scorecard. No, but Marv loved snowmobiling. That was like his main thing. And he took his girlfriend snowmobile, and like every Thursday he would meet with like a group of friends. And they would just call off work and snowmobile.
Nerds.
Because they about that life,
That life.
Imagine just be able to do like, I can't do that one day a week. I guess come here and like record, but I have to do it after work. Like, we have to work around schedules. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing that I can just be like, I'm gonna take the day off and go frolic through flowers.
Also, I feel like what is it?
Snowmobiling.
Snowmobiling.
Yeah.
Like, you could just go do that on your own. You can't. If we met up every Thursday to go snowmobiling.
Yeah, you can't like go like people,
Like,
because
we'll show up and be like, hey, how you doing? It's
Yeah.
Thursday. We're gonna do this thing, and then we're both. You can't talk to each other. And then when you get done, you just go, "Oh, we did it.
We snowmobile, didn't we? Yep. Well, they would have groups up to 24 people.
Good Lord.
And usually Marv was like the natural leader of these
Right.
people. Like everyone kind of looked up to Marv. Like the friends that he had that, through that community. Like since he was a welder, he would weld like special bumpers on, and like some of his friends like interviewed, like they just look like snowmobilers. Okay. I don't know if people are listening that are like, I've never been snowmobiling. It kind of looks like a jet ski on the snow.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it wouldn't be as fun as a jet ski because, like, you're all cold and shit, and you're like, I'm going to go faster in this cold wind.
Right.
And that'll be
Right.
really cold. Because, like, Colorado, especially there, like, they said, like, sometimes in winters, like, it wouldn't get above 10 degrees for, like, weeks. So, I mean, like, you had to have those kind of people, So he did have himself, he wasn't, like, a total loner. He had his friends he met with, his girlfriend. But Marv would make bumpers for him, and they would, just mow down trees. They said they could like mow down
Trees.
like 4-inch trees with like these special steel.
Jesus.
And like you weren't a true snowmobiler unless you had a Marv bumper.
I've always said that.
So if you were in there in
I
that
call
time and
pros
you
of
didn't
that
have
all the
one,
time.
step off, okay?
Yeah.
Step off of Marv and his bumpers. But Marv's moto.
Moto.
That's the kind of snowmobile he had was a
Moto.
Moto 767 GT Express.
I bet that's a thing.
It could be. No, but his motto was, when in doubt, gas it.
Again, wise words. Wise words.
But Marv and all his buddies too, they all felt like outsiders in Granby because they said like Granby was kind of run by what they called the Good Old Boys Club.
Right.
Like I said, Cody Dochef, he was part of that. He's the town was run by pretty much a family called the Thompsons. Okay. Dick Thompson was the patriarch. He's former mayor of the town, judge. He was head of like the town boards, the whatever.
Like the city council?
So, yeah.
That kind of thing?
He had 3 sons, Ron Thompson, Larry Thompson, and Gary Thompson.
What is it, Ron, Tom, and Gary?
Ron, Larry, and Gary.
Ron, Larry, and Gary.
Yeah, we're all little dicks.
Yeah.
Larry is, or Gary dead.
Okay.
So that's we're not going to talk about Gary much.
So Gary came in 3rd place.
But Ron was vice president of the board, and Larry and Ron worked together. They were probably the richest family there,
Gotcha.
But they had an excavating company. They were hard workers. I mean, they had their money handed down, but like they earned it too.
Yeah, right.
Like people would see him out doing all the work, like doing at the construction sites.
Isn't there something on there where they say about how like they didn't even hire anybody?
Yeah, if they could do it, they would do it. Yeah. I mean, they considered them toys, Like, one of the guys, like, they goes in his office, and what he does when he's not excavating with all these, like, giant machines, he's got little toy machines in his office. Yeah. And he's like, I like to get about 2 or 3 a year when it affords it. It's like, buddy, like, what?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool guy.
Like, haven't you heard of snowmobiling? Like, what the fuck? Nerd. But that's who, like, Marv kind of clashed against. Because, like, they were on the board, and it even started back in... I'm getting way off board on my notes here. Because I just know this story so well now. But, like, his dad, like, Dick Thompson, while he was alive, like, kept Marv off the sanitation board when Marv first got there. So, like, I feel like as soon as Marv got there, like... He just wanted, like, an axe to grind.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
I feel like this is the kind of guy who, like, wants to be a victim...
Yeah,
but
he'll find somebody to make the bad guy.
Yeah, but it's weird that he was also like the alpha male of like that snowmobiling group,
Yeah, he wanted to be one of the good old boys.
Yeah,
like he wanted to, like if he could have been one of them, he'd have been one of them. But since he couldn't, he didn't have any power. But with these snowmobilers, yeah, he could kind of just overtake the power there.
He tried. He definitely got it with the snowmobilers, but he definitely tried with the board too. So he got the land, and then they told him that there wasn't a sewage line.
Yeah.
And they said Marv had to build a sewage line
to connect to the main one.
Yeah. And it was like hundreds of feet away, and Marv just refused to do it.
It was going to cost because they were going to make him pay for it.
Yeah, they were going to make him pay for it. And it could have been like up to $60,000, So he just never did it, or upwards to $80,000.
Yeah, I think it was going to cost him a pretty big chunk of money.
So I think he just ran his business without sewage for years.
Well, then they started getting him on improper waste disposal.
Yeah,
I don't know where he was taking it or what he was doing with it. But...
He probably had porta johns or something, just
right.
It's not. I don't want to brag, but I've rented a porta john or two for some events. They're not that much. I mean,
a simple man can afford it.
Yeah. And Marv, he's got that champagne budget with a beer keg.
Right.
Fucking thirst or whatever. Okay, let's see.
So the city's fucking with him. They want him to run a sewage pipe.
He's not going to do it. He just makes his business, does that, keeps the business going. And then in 98, Marv claims that the town spot zone the 2 acres right beside his property so that Cody Dochef could build his concrete plant because Cody's part of the Good Old Boys Club. He's friends with the Thompsons. They work together. So to Marv, this is all just... And Marv claims that this is an illegal thing to do, but since no one objected within 30 days, it became state law.
Okay.
So he could have done something, but he didn't.
Right.
And it was too late.
Well, yeah,
so
he could have objected, right?
Oh my God. That was the worst that could possibly happen.
2 more pages.
Those are the pages that don't matter.
Hold on, everybody.
We just killed somebody. No.
Let's kill everybody real quick while we're cleaning up all of this mess. We're going to go to a break.
Damn it, Troll!
For God's sakes, things are going out of hand. We're going to be right back We have some technical issues.
This is my last episode.
All right.
I'm not ready. No, I'm ready.
Okay. I think we've got everything under control here. Joe, quit throwing things.
All right, I got so upset because like 30 days and you're just gonna like spot zone this shit.
Right.
Well, Marv wasn't having it, so he kind of he started going to all the town meetings, and he would just always like rally against this. And he got the town to kind of rally against this because he's like, there's gonna be noise, there's gonna be dust. And he's trying to put mufflers on cars. You can't just have dust floating around.
No, with mufflers on cars, you can't.
But really what it was, because, like, he could no longer cut through those 2 acres to get from his house to the shop. And, like, it
was slightly inconvenienced.
He was slightly inconvenienced. And also, when it happened, it was going to go right over the land that he would, if he wanted to build the sewage lines.
Yeah.
Because that's right where the concrete plant was.
Well,
so
I believe also, didn't he... wasn't there at some point he wanted to expand, and he wanted the 2 acres that they ended up?
Okay, yeah, I didn't get that in here, but that probably could be.
I think he wanted the 2 acres that Cody ended up being.
And maybe like he couldn't buy it then, but then they
put an offer on it and
they
turned him down. I think is what it was.
Well, that would piss Marv off because he's a bitter little man.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to slight him.
But he claimed like, but the town kind of got behind him. They're like, yeah, what about all this noise, dirt, and traffic? And they were able to explain it all away because they're good businessmen. They're not what Marv thinks. I mean, I'm sure there is a little bit of that good old boys club there.
Oh, definitely.
But also, I'm sure like, what do they say? You catch more flies with
honey.
Yeah, than vinegar. I don't know what it is, but just be nice, maybe.
But if you can get some flies,
some flies. However you can get a fly there, Pence. Get a fly. We're so topical, remember? Last night, the VP debate?
Okay.
I wasn't watching. I saw it today.
I tried watching it, and I just couldn't. I could not. Like, I can't watch this shit when people are asked questions, and they just fucking ignore the question. I hate politicians. Go on.
And then they just talk over each other. That's the episode now. Let's go.
Nope.
You go on.
Nope.
Okay.
Let's get back to the story.
Okay. So Marv fought it, and of course he lost. And then after he lost that, they hit him with the fine for the waste thing. So was that something where
I'm sure there was a bit of retaliation there.
Well, then Marv comes back with a lawyer and was like, "This is kind of weird in the doc," but basically said that he caught him in a mistake and they have to start all over again.
All that, like the whole process of the land and all
and
that?
while they're doing that, Cody just starts building the plan anyway.
Right.
So Marv's got to sit there right beside it and just see Cody building this. Why him and his lawyer are trying to fight this. And they said, like, his friend said that in legal fees, Marv paid $150,000 trying to fight this. And, of course, like, he was denied. They ruled. And he says that it's all the lawyer's fault. Because nothing's Marv's fault. I don't know if you've noticed that yet. Yeah. Nothing is Marv's fault. It's the lawyer's fault because he was just trying to milk Marv for more money. But when Marv wanted to, like, go at him again, the lawyer was like, no. Like, why? We're not, if he was milking him, he would be like, hell yeah, let's keep going. We can keep fighting this.
Yeah.
Like, we'll fight it through, But no, the lawyer was like, no, like, this is it. Like, you have a $2,500 fine, and he had $100 a day fine until they closed down his business. And they said, we're not opening it up, $2,500, $100 a day until you get this. And by now, Cody wouldn't let him do it.
Right.
Wouldn't even let him go underneath the concrete plant.
To run the actual sewage pipe that he needs, yeah.
But another thing where Marv he does all this to himself. The dough chef, Cody and Thompson, they said that they offered Marv, they would connect him for free if he would just drop all this shit.
Right.
But Marv didn't want to do that because you can't be a victim if you're working with somebody.
Yeah.
Cause like I went into this kind of thinking like, man, this guy, like I was like trying to like, I don't want to say like find a hero, so I'm fucking 41 years old.
But you're still looking.
Yeah. I mean, cause Mark McGuire's still alive. Okay, I don't need a hero that bad.
Right.
But like the more I like watch this and read about it, I was like, this guy's a fucking little. He's just.
Yeah. As like the first half of it.
Like if I would have started with the last half. I'm like, yeah, you kind of explain just what he did, and like that kind of gloss over his reasons why. But then when you like hear like just they like he could have just
first for me anyways. Like I'm immediately gonna be like, yeah, fuck the man.
Yeah.
Like whatever. But then like the more I kept going, I was just like, Marv, you gotta fucking you gotta work with him a little bit, buddy. Like you can't It can't all be yours.
What political party do you think Marv was?
Well,
I mean, both sides are fucking awful.
I'll try to remember. I'll wait to see if you have the quote or not. But I do have.
Oh, does he say? Okay, I have a few good quotes in here.
Tie-in story.
Okay.
For that,
so he had to pay $150,000 in lawyer's fee. The lawyer was like, "Nah, we're not doing this." He gets fined $100 a day, and he just he went and took a check down there. And on the check, he wrote, "To the Cowards and Liars Department." Marv got him pretty good there.
That's a zinger.
But then they had to call him up. They're like, "Hey, idiot, you wrote this check wrong." And he had to go back in there.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, and like edit the check to where it could be actually used. And then I guess stomped out again, you know.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Like I said, Marv, I mean, he had himself to blame. And he tried to sell his property after that. He tried to sell it for $250,000, and who wants to buy it?
It was Cody, right?
Cody wants to buy it. And Marv hears that, and he says, "Nope, pulling it. I'm going to sell it for $375,000. So $125,000 markup. Who wants to buy it? Cody Dochef. Or this is before, you know, Cody, because he wants to expand his shit. And then Marv pulls it again and puts it for over $1 million. And then by that point, obviously, Cody was like, no.
Well, Cody, I bet if he offers him $1 million.
Yeah. Well, I want $1 million, and I want you to get on your knees, and I want you to admit that snowmobiling's better than any old thing that you do. You tell them, Marv. Their buddies are back there revving up their snowmobiles. They're like on the back of a truck though. They're not even in the snow. Like, we should have unloaded them.
This is Colorado. There's snow on the ground, guys. We could have driven them.
But like afterwards, how many people are saying that like Marvin was so upset about all this shit, but he wasn't that serious about his business. And obviously didn't have sewage. Yeah. He would just go fucking snowmobiling every Thursday. Yeah. Like, hey, you got my muffler fixed? Be like, no, but I got like 26 miles in with Scott.
And I can't imagine. Like, this is a small town, if I remember.
Yeah.
Like, how much business could he have been doing?
Muffler shop, yeah.
Like,
I mean, the town, like, looks pretty legit. They have, a hardware store you're going to find out later.
Yeah, I'm sure.
A library.
I'm sure they can afford cars and mufflers. Like, I'm not questioning that they have mufflers.
But how many per?
But, like, how much work is that guy doing? Unless people are coming from other parts of Colorado.
And, like, the police said, like, they used them for, like, for things. I'm sure, like, Larry Thompson said he was working at a job once, and Marv stopped and pretty much threatened him, said, "Your family cost me $300,000, and I want it back right now." And they were like, fuck you.
Right.
And on the tapes, it's so funny. He's like, and I knew, this is Marv speaking. He's like, I knew I got to him because when I drove away, I was about 5 trucks lengths away. They said, "Hey, why don't you suck my dick?" And why would you say that? I'm kind of paraphrasing. I didn't write down exactly what he said, but Marv's like, why would you say that unless you just knew that there was nothing else you could say because you were guilty? Yeah. How about because suck my fucking dick, Marv? How about I said it because of that?
How much could you put up and fucking threaten me?
Yeah. Like, my dad's dead. Homie. Okay.
Fucking Marv.
Fucking Marv, dude. So fast forward to Sumer?
Hey, man, Sumerian times. That's what we're in.
Oh, my God. So summer 2002, Marv goes to California and buys a Commodolus D355. He buys a bulldozer.
Yeah. He buys
a big old bulldozer. I'm sure Josh will probably, draw a picture of it for the website.
I won't.
Well, maybe you can rip one off the internet.
It's a Komatsu
D355. Okay, I don't have the A either.
The MK tank.
The MK tank. So he bought it in California, and then has it transported to Colorado, which I'm sure cost a little bit of money.
Yeah. And
he put it on his property with the for sale sign immediately. And they said he brought it in in a big, middle of the night. It was this whole big ordeal. I think he wanted people to know that he bought a bulldozer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe that was because the Thompsons rented that kind of equipment. So it was that was saying maybe, he's going to try to get into that kind of stuff. I don't know. But he parked it facing the concrete plant.
Yeah.
And his friend said that's why he didn't buy it to sell it. He bought it to intimidate, specifically, Cody. Like, just, it was like blocking like an access road between the two businesses. Yeah. And then he bought the bulldozer, and he shut down his business, and he sold all his equipment and everything, and he leased the land out.
Right.
And he said the only thing that didn't sell was the bulldozer. And like the Marv, that was a sign from God that what he was going, like, that bulldozer meant something, you know. So like, this is like trying to like just build up to what broke this guy.
Right.
This motherfucker, I kind of think he was broken the whole time. But like what finally, like this stuff, like what were they just the $100 a day? He couldn't get the sewage line done now at all because they wouldn't let him. I mean, the concrete plant was up. How are you going to build underneath it? I don't even know how that shit works.
It sounds like he's just completely unwilling.
Yeah, but he goes and buys a bulldozer. Like, he could have originally just put the sewage line in and not spent the $150,000 in court, not all that stuff. So he leased the land, and then he just ended up selling the land for $400,000 to a trash company. But he sold it, and he said, "But I want to rent one of your buildings." Because old Marv fucking figured out something.
Things are brewing.
Marv was sitting in his hot tub one night. He was pretty depressed about everything, and he said God spoke to him and told him that he needs to build a giant killdozer and just show everybody once and for all what's up.
God was like, you need to get yourself a badass killdozer.
Yeah. Like, you got that bulldozer, you got the know-how. I mean, and I know the bulldozer just barely fit into that building.
Called a killdozer.
Why else would that bulldozer fit into that building? Why would that killdozer fit into the building unless God wanted him to build it into a massive...
Doesn't it fit like perfect? Like, it's like, I remember...
Yeah, like...
He was like, it fit perfectly in
Yeah, like he came all over the fact that like it was like a half inch on each side. He's like, oh God, yes! Oh, literally, oh God, yes! So so at this point he broke up with his girlfriend.
Doesn't need her anymore. He's got God now.
Yeah, and snowmobiling, of course. And and he just had pretty much all the money and all the time in the world. And he spent a year and a half like just one thing on his mind. Two.
Just building.
Revenge and snowmobiling. And in his little shed, he had a collection of movies. And he had a movie called A Man Apart, starring Vin Diesel. And his friend said he watched that one the most.
Well, there's a reason. Because it's great.
Yeah, and like he gets revenge on people. And then, at the end, he's all, he's the better man and everything like that. And
yeah, he learned something. He can just kill people that cross him.
Yeah.
And that's problem solving.
But only if you're Vin Diesel. This guy's no Vin Diesel. He's Marvin Heemeyer.
He's Marvin.
And the trash company, after they bought the land, they actually had to do a walkthrough on the building to inspect it for insurance. And Marv had like a giant tarp up covering it. And he just told him that he was helping the professor.
Sign on the tarp says, not a killdozer.
Yeah. Not here to hurt anybody. And he told them that a professor hired him to perfect the cooling system, which would cool the air and increase the performance of the engine. And they bought that whole bullshit story.
Sounds like something that would happen.
Yeah, like sounds like something a muffler dude who owned the auto shop, who was good at machines, might be doing.
Right.
And they're like, okay, whatever, weirdo.
You said some words there that we don't know what it means, so sure.
We're just trash guys. Do you got trash in here or not?
We're just garbage,
It was Oscar the Grouch. Words. But this, again, was another sign from God. Marvin wasn't caught. The trash people didn't see it. This is exactly what he's supposed to be.
I think he says that there was at least three times people come through.
Yeah, and he would he tried to always work at night when the trash company was closed. He had cameras outside, so I mean, he could get ready when someone showed up. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he thought of everything.
Right.
And then winter came around, and God was like, "Hey, Marv, pal, come on over."
Hey, Marvin.
Pat his little knee. Marv sat on God's knee, and he's like, "You know what? You've been working hard on that killdozer, haven't you?" Marv's like, "Thanks for noticing, God." He's like, "You know what? I want you to take the winter off and just snowmobile. because this is going to be it, Marv.
Oh, golly, Jesus. God.
That's what Marv claims. He said God came to him. He said, hey, take the winter off. This thing's not going anywhere. You know, this could be your last winter to really, you know, snowmobile it up with the boys. So he was like snowmobiling all winter and never said anything about his plans.
You got to get it out of the way now.
Like this guy, like he was snowmobiling and like making plans with these people. Like, all right, we're going to do this in June just to say we snowmobiled in June. You know, and they're like, yo, you're the best, Marv. You know, and they all hugged and everything.
Yay, Marv.
Because God let him do that.
Well, yeah.
Because God loves Marv and God loves snowmobiling.
And killdozers.
So he had all his money. I mean, he sold the land for $400,000. He sold all the equipment. Who knows what he made from that? And what he did with the money, because he knew that they might come after it. So he gave it all to his dad. And his dad split it up into like 50,000 increments for his brothers and sisters.
Right.
Well, then in March of 2004, Marcus's father died, you know, because there was only one set of footprints. It was God? I don't know. Like, I thought, what'd God say about that, I wonder. So Marv goes to South Dakota for the services. And this is the most fucked up shit. And I've always thought this. He takes pictures at the funeral. Like, they show in the documentary, like, his dad in the casket. Yeah. Like, him and his brothers and sisters standing in front of the casket. Like, one last family picture. Like, that's the weirdest thing ever.
Right.
To fucking take a picture of somebody. To me. But that's Marv. And he took a selfie too. And he's all sad looking. And he really does look broken, you know. Looks like a broken little angry man. And
he's like, Dad died.
And they talk about that. Yeah, it's like, well, he's at his dad's funeral. He's going to look a little sad. Because in the documentary, like, you can tell that he had something brewing in his mind. Like, it's fucking. Do you want him to be like smiling, like thumbs up?
Right.
Like propping up his dad and like, here we are. So that's what he did with the money. And that was March. So then the next month, 13th of April, shit went down.
Shit goes down.
Yeah. So Marv, what he did, he built concrete plates all around the bulldozer's cab. And then he would fill steel plates and he would put concrete between the steel plates. Sometimes there'd be like up to a foot away from him. That's how big that thing. It covered the entire cab, like the engine, part of the front, you know. And Marv he had cameras on the outside. He had 3 monitors on the inside of the Killdozer. And he April 13th, it's about 10:05. He just drives right out of his building, destroys that garage that he's in, and head straight for the concrete company. And that was the first 911 call with someone from the trash company. They're like, hey, there's a bulldozer just tearing up the concrete building. And I mean, could you imagine getting that call? Like, what? They're like, is there somebody in it? They're like, we don't know.
It's a self-sustained killdozer, actually.
They actually did think that it was empty at first, because you know, yeah, because Cody was there at the plant. You know, that's his plant. So they come out and they're trying to like jam like rebar and stuff into the tracks of the just doing anything. I mean, what can you do to stop a giant bulldozer? You know, they tried to climb up the back, and Marv had covered it in grease or Vaseline.
He thought of everything.
He really did. So of course they couldn't climb up it, and. Well, I have a quote too. If I can do this first, I'm sorry. This is a quote that's from the documentary. That this is Marv before it starts, because actually it wasn't on April 13th. This quote is from April 13th. Okay. So this quote is after his dad dies. I got a little ahead of myself. I got excited. This is only my 3rd time. Okay, I'm putting my shirt back on. All right, my shirt's back on. All right, I'm taking it back off. It's too hot.
All right, you're free again. Here we go.
This is Marv. This is a direct quote from him from the tapes. I want to say that I believe that I'm an American patriot. I believe in free enterprise system. I'm saying this like clutching a fist, like I believe it. I'm just trying to get into character. That wasn't Marv. That was me doing my thoughts on it. I'm going to go back to Marv.
Okay.
I believe in a level playing field of competition. If you want to change that level playing field of competition to your advantage, basically, you give me license to do that also when my opportunity comes around. Because you're the leaders of the community. Through your actions, you show the... I'm trying to read my writing, people. You show the community how things are supposed to be done. You have given me license through your example to do what I need to do. When I do this, that levels the playing field in my favor. Now we got a lopsided playing field. Because when I come back at you, I'm going to destroy your side of the playing field.
All right, Marv.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, he just keeps saying, you're giving me license and playing field. And I mean, I kind of get what he's saying.
You did it first.
But I feel like the tapes...
started it.
I feel like the tapes, like, as they go, he probably gets, like, more and more just full of bullshit and full of himself.
Oh, of course.
Once he starts explaining the story and all that. So that was like a quote once he pretty much... That was April, so just a few months later.
Everything's their fault.
Yeah. This all could have been avoided.
His actions are their fault.
Yeah. Like, he tried, whatever. It's all them. And obviously his friends thought he spent too much time alone.
Right.
You think? I got a Killdozer to work on, fellas. I wonder what he did tell him. If he was like, I'm just hanging out in my garage watching Vin Diesel movies.
But, Marv, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
We snowmobile.
I don't wear the snowmobile.
It's snowmobiles, though, Marv. We love them. Don't you love the snowmobile Thursdays?
Not as much as I love Vin Diesel.
Well, that's understandable, Marv.
But so Marv had plans and everything. So that's like, he was suicidal, but I wonder, like, if he was trying to think of a way where he could do this and not have to die. Because, I mean, he is making plans. Like, the day that the June 4th, when the event happens, he's supposed to be going to the dentist to get a crown finished.
Right.
Where his ex-girlfriend worked. And it's like, so he's like doing all this, but he doesn't care about any of it because he's just wanting to die.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you have it in your notes and you haven't got to it yet or not, but he makes 3 gun ports.
Yep.
On the Killdozer.
Yeah.
And he fits one with a 50 caliber rifle, one with a
I have him written down.
308 semi-automatic, and one with a 22. I think as soon as he decided to do that,
yeah,
he had already decided he's not living through this.
Yeah.
Like, he was definitely going to try to do as much damage and cause as much...
I don't think he expected to ride off into the sunset in a bulldozer.
Yeah, I think he knew this was going to be able. He was going to try to fuck up as much as he.
Or do you think he was like on the fence of even doing it? Like, I'll build it and then see how I feel. If he's still like making plans to snowmobile and like,
I think that's just
getting dental work done and shit. Like, if I knew I was gonna be dying, I would be getting dental work done. Maybe that was the excuse to see the ex-girlfriend. I don't know.
Well, I think he just decided he probably figured it was his best interest to keep things seeming normal, not to give anybody any,
Yeah.
Make him curious as to what he was.
He was definitely a smart guy.
Yeah.
Definitely smart, cunning.
He was a good businessman.
Yeah. I would love to just know what happened between like just birth and when he gets to college. Like, why?
Right.
Why? Like, what made you like this?
I mean, the guy somehow made more money than most people need.
Yeah.
From a month.
And he says that in there. Yeah, he's like, sure, I made a lot of money,
Yeah,
and
so he knew what he was doing. So he's a smart guy. I think he knew what was. Yeah. He knew what
but
was
he said on the tape, say it was a piece. It was what he was going to do. That what happened to him is not what he deserved. And he says, for as good as a man can be, also can he be as bad. Which, I'm going to put that in a song. And when you visit evil upon someone, be assured it will revisit you.
Okay.
And pretty much he mentions the Thompsons, Cody Dochef, basically anybody on the town board. Like, if you were on the town board, a janitor in the building, like, Marv wasn't a fan of yours.
Marv has a picture of you.
And he says this is God's will to be done through him. Like, he's just an instrument of God.
It's crazy that God has taken
like,
such an interest
It's
in
like
Marv.
God's just slapping the bass of Marv's soul.
Yeah.
And just like, boom, ba-doom, 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 boom, boom, boom. And he's like, Killdozer. But yeah, like you said, yeah, 50 caliber gun, 22 long rifle, and you said a semi-automatic 308. And And then June 4th, that's when it happened. I'm sorry, it wasn't April. I was wrong about that. It was June 4th, 2002. Marv burst out the side of the building, like I said, went straight to the concrete plant and just started fucking shit up there. Like, destroyed all the buildings at the concrete plant. I mean, they're calling 911. Cops start showing up. And when the cops get there, Marv shoots at him.
Yeah.
So, like, he wasn't just trying to destroy property. And how does he know, like, on a weekday, who's in that concrete plant?
Well, I think he's decided that the entire town at this point is guilty of wronging.
Because of the board. Yeah, the entire town. Even though it's just, you had a disagreement with, like, just that handful of people. Sure, he goes after their property, but, like, just anyone could have been in the concrete plant.
Well, I'm sure he feels like, how dare this entire town not come together and fight.
They're not on my side.
Yeah.
They don't even snowmobile with me when I invite them. It's just me and Doug and Scott most of the time. I don't know if that's their names.
I am 100% sure that's their names.
There's a dude named Doug that was snowmobiling.
The group is definitely Marv, Doug, and Scott.
Dougie!
Marvy, baby!
Oh, my God. So the trash company called 911, and 911 was like, look, you can't prank us. And they're like, no, really, there's a fucking Killdozer. And,
okay, we'll send the army.
And they tried to stop the track. They couldn't do that. They tried to climb up on top. They couldn't do that. The first call was around 2:15 to 911, to 911, if you will. You won't let me do that. So it's 2:15 on business day. I mean, you're on the last half of the day. You're downhill. And can you just imagine how loud that was? Just that fucking bulldozer with the motor just running. Because it's a big bulldozer, too. I don't know a lot about bulldozers, but it's bigger than my car.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
My little Kia Forte would not make a good bulldozer.
No.
It looked more like a tank, people said.
It does look like a tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Cody tried to stop the dozer with the front end loader, which is kind of like a bulldozer, but like you can lift the blade up, so it is, the front of it. So Cody tries to do that, and he slams into the dozer, backs up, slams into him again, and he slammed into him so hard he hit the windshield and knocked himself out. And then Marv started shooting at Cody. Like, Cody woke up to just, like, luckily the blade was blocked. The bucket is what they called it, the bucket. Because he was trying to raise up the thing, and he just wasn't heavy enough at all. Right. So the bucket's just getting pelted, and dust is flying everywhere. And once Cody finally, like, gets his, wherewithal about himself, he scrambles out, and he's like, all right, well, I can't do anything about it. It's a fucking bulldozer, Killdozer, and he leaves. He doesn't leave, but he just knows, they're not. He can't do anything. And at this point, more police are showing up, and that's when Cody told him, like, there's no one in there. It's got to be radio controlled. Yeah. Because Cody's a real dumb son of a. No.
I don't know why. Yeah, I remember it was Cody. I was like, where did you get that from?
He's like, I know it's Marv, but it's radio controlled. I mean, maybe he didn't think Marv had the stones for that. I mean, maybe. Marv's a smart enough guy. He probably could. Maybe I feel like there's I feel like Cody would know there's too much hand stuff going on. Like, hand stuff. There's a lot of hand stuff going inside bulldozers, okay?
I feel like,
why do you think they're smiling?
I don't even think we have, like, remote. Like, I don't even think the U.S. Army, military or whatever, has, like, remote tanks. Yeah. They might. I could be wrong.
And, I mean, in Cody's defense, too, a bulldozer's tearing up your fucking building. Like, I'm sure he'd never, never thought something like that would happen.
Well, lo and behold,
even though it's his fault.
God's driving.
Yeah. So. Like, why even fight this? This is God's will, okay? What do you guys hate God?
Hate God?
Oh, okay. The whole town of Gansby just hates God? Do your thing, Marv. So the police were like, basically, how do you attack something like this? Yeah. And they were like, with love. And that didn't work. So they start shooting at the little portholes. Because we said there's portholes for the guns. Yeah. And you had the cameras. Well, they're shooting, and then they didn't realize till afterwards he had 2 sheets of like 1/2 inch, like bulletproof plastic Lexan covering it. Yeah. So he thought of everything. He had a tank of air in there, and it would he had little nozzles in front that would blow debris away from the cameras. So, like, he could always see what was going on around him, I mean, he really did just thought of everything. Like, and, of course, they couldn't get in, too, because like I said, he lowered the top on him by a crane. He couldn't get out, so no one could get in.
Like, this dude should be working for our military.
he's a genius.
Is what he should be like.
He's a genius, but they didn't. He wasn't hugged enough.
Right.
Like he wanted people to be like, yeah, Marv, good job, buddy.
Yeah.
He wanted the whole town to be like that. It wasn't enough that he has little snowmobile jerk-off pals, you know. We're going to get a lot of hate mail from snowmobilers.
I didn't realize I was so anti-snowmobiler until tonight. So
I've always been anti-snowmobile.
I learned something about
All
myself.
All right, we're
tonight.
growing.
These therapy sessions are really working out.
So I think Marv did know once he started, he wasn't.
Well, like you said,
because he couldn't get out.
They think that he lowered it by crane.
Yeah, he did. He had a remote control. That was one thing he could do with the remote control. You're half right, Cody.
He had to choose between the two.
Yeah.
I don't.
I bet that was fun for him inside there, though.
He didn't plan on coming out. Yeah. I'd love to be able to be inside his head.
And like it showed in the doc, he shaved his head the night before he did it.
Well, because that's just badass.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's the action movie montage.
Yep.
You start.
You gotta look at yourself in the mirror, or don't even look in the mirror. Start with the eyebrows if you're gonna do that.
Be a man about it.
Yeah. So they were trying to shoot, and the cop even got on top of the dozer, and he was trying to find the way in. And of course, he was trying to shoot into it. He dropped a flash grenade. It didn't do anything because there was a air conditioning kind of not a duct, but he did have an opening,
like a vent.
Yeah, for air conditioning. Yeah. But I'm sure it was it wasn't it couldn't, obviously it wasn't right above him.
Yeah.
It was just to get the air circulated in there, and they couldn't do anything with it anyway because it was all welded in. It was all steel.
That's one of my favorite parts of the documentary is seeing that cop on top.
Yeah. Just Teen Wolfing it.
I don't know what the fuck to do. He's like, I'm up here now.
There's bricks up there and stuff. Because,
the debris fall on top of
it would just fall on top. And, he could get the stuff away from the air vents, I guess, but, obviously not that stuff. So then, let's see. He goes, Marv starts going towards the town hall. So he leaves the concrete plant, goes towards the town hall, and the town hall is a 2-story building, and it's on the second floor, and the first floor is a library, and it's 3 o'clock now, 3:30 maybe, I don't know. So the whole thing lasted a little over 2 hours, so it's still they're open,
Yeah.
It's the middle of the day, and they did a reverse 911 call to just let people know shelter in place. So a lot of people went to the library thinking that was a safe place. Well, then they figured out who it was. They know who his enemies are. He's not been shy about that. So they called the library, and they got everybody out in time.
I believe there was a daycare in there.
Yep, there's a daycare in there. Yeah. Because when he did it, he went around the back, and he completely tore up the playground.
Yeah.
There's a playground in the back, and he tore that all the fuck and just destroyed the town hall, the library, just in and out.
Been helping him, too, so.
Yeah.
If the kids would have
if they loved God.
Or petitioned.
Yeah. They were playing.
They could have done some fucking work.
Yeah,
so they only have themselves to blame.
You can play on Thursdays, kids, okay? That's the day for play. That's when you can play.
Whatever the fuck you want.
You little bastards.
Little idiots.
Okay. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He went to Mountain Park Electric before he went to the town hall. And that's just because one of the members of town hall worked there.
Right.
Wasn't even at the time. I don't even think when he was doing this thing, the guy worked there then. But when everything was going on, he worked there. So he goes there and destroys the electric building, so he destroys that. And that's right when he gets to the town hall, that's when the cop jumps off. And it's probably good, because he probably would have fucking died.
Yeah, because he's
it's just, through the building. It's so crazy that, spoiler, Marv's the only one that dies this whole day. And it's just so nuts when you hear all this shit.
Right.
Nobody else got hurt, died.
The Killdozer isn't going to be the fastest thing.
Yeah.
So, you have time.
It's weird seeing the documentary. It looks like a parade, because there's just cops.
Just following it.
Yeah, they're on foot. There's some driving behind. They're just pew pew, just I can't believe
they kept shooting.
I can't believe no one got shot that way. Just
ricocheted?
Yeah, shooting at it, or some hillbilly coming out and be like, "You're not in my town, Marv," and clink clink does his little shotgun and ping, he shoots an eye out or something like Christmas Story.
Yeah, I think you need to learn the difference between shotguns and BB guns.
That was definitely a BB gun. I was doing the BB gun, but I did it twice. I got that pressure build up,
Yeah, that's not how those work.
Well, God is going to make it a real gun, okay?
Okay, I got you.
Water to wine, BB gun to fucking killing machine.
I got you. Makes sense. God is mysterious.
So then Marv checked out a couple books.
Nope.
Returned one.
Nope.
Oh, that's not in your notes?
You're going on. Yeah, that's the story you're writing.
Oh.
That's your kid's book.
So after that, they, like I said, he destroyed the playgrounds. Real dick move, Marv.
Yeah.
Like, what those cops do, you know?
You mean the kids?
Yeah, what the...
I was the cop playground. You're right, I forgot.
But what the cops do?
It was the cops playground.
Well, the cops, they didn't arrest those guys?
Shot the
Doge chef.
Yeah, at any point they could have murdered him.
I mean, just for the name Cody Dochef. I would have looked into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I keep talking?
Yeah. So
okay.
He Killdozer's the playground.
Yep, the playground. Then he goes on to the Sky High News because according to him, they would never advertise for him at the muffler shop. The guy, when he was like fighting it, like one of the editors like kind of wrote a couple things about him, and like the guy that they interviewed said he tried to get a hold of Marv all the time. He was always out snowmobiling.
He said he was trying to advertise.
Yeah, he gave him a free advertisement.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You know, and like Marv scoffed at that. You know, like that wasn't anything real.
Yeah. Basically, Marv just takes offense to everything.
Unless you're there like just one of his snowmobile buddies that looks up to him so much. Unless if he's not your alpha male,
yeah,
then like he doesn't want anything to do with you, and like he
will killdoze you.
He will killdoze you.
Yeah.
So obviously at this point the cops feel overwhelmed. I mean, it's destroyed like 4 or 5 buildings. I just can't. I keep trying to imagine the noise of this and just like the sirens going off and everybody yelling and just into the building
Gunshots.
and out, into the building and out. Yeah, like just what that fucking sounded like.
The cops just keep shooting.
Yeah, I mean that's cops. That's kind of what they do.
That's kind of the thing.
All right, that's kind of their
Why
MO.
is it dying?
That's like 98%.
You don't know what else to do.
That's like 98% of their training. Like you have a heart attack, you're getting shot. Like I'm gonna shoot him back to life. I'm like, Doug, you can't do that. So then after that, he was he started headed towards the Thompsons' house. Dick Thompson's dead. His widow lived there. The Thompsons' mom. Whoa. She was there asleep. They called her 30 minutes before the bulldozer got there, and he completely destroyed the house of an old woman whose husband's dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure she...
Did God tell him to do that?
Look, she could have killed the old Thompson in the sleep. She could have helped Marv that way. These people all did Marv wrong, is what I'm saying.
Marv deserved a lot better. And he'll be the first and second and third and fourth and fifth to tell you. And he's going to keep fucking telling you. So at this point, the helicopters start showing up, news vans, like this is like kind of where they start getting more coverage with it. And, he decides, Marv, that he's going to go now to the gas company. And it's like the gas propane company.
Which, I don't know what Marv is thinking here. Because, I don't care what you're in.
Yeah.
You can't go explode, giant fucking propane tanks.
Have you ever seen a Vin Diesel movie?
You're right. You're right. Go ahead.
He's got that Vin Diesel logic.
Go ahead.
And these aren't like little camping propane tanks. These are like the big giant industrial.
That's what I'm saying.
And he tries to start shooting them.
Right.
He's like, I'm gonna and there's a nursing home right across the street from it. There's a trailer park. There's other houses. And again, Marv's like, God said, fuck them all. Kill them all, I'll sort them out.
That's what God said.
Yeah. My man.
He's like, yeah, turns out you guys came up with that. I thought it was pretty badass, and I've kind of just been adopting it.
But apparently Marv actually blocked one of his gun holes, so the gun he was trying to shoot with him, he was only able to shoot one transformer, which, not like an Autobot, but apparently that's something to where electric is stored.
I got you.
Yeah, and he shot that. And because God hates electricity too. All right, I don't want to get into it here because I feel like we've already gone a little bit, but God hates electricity.
Whoa, man.
I mean, our podcast is electricity. So at this point, nothing's worked.
Our podcast
is electricity. You heard it here first. And the next time, what happened next is the town got a scraper, which is like a long construction vehicle, but it's like the one where you can kind of 90-degree turn the front of it.
Yeah.
It's just a big giant fucking machine.
They were just like, can we make a huge vehicle?
Yeah, just barricade. They were trying to do a roadblock for a bulldozer, and he just pushed it right out of the way.
Right.
I mean, just that that's the noise it made, and it got the scraper right out. But
at this point, you got to be thinking we need Godzilla.
Yeah,
like we're running out of options.
Well, the police deny this, but there was talks that they were trying to get Apache helicopters to come. Because I mean, yeah, where's it going to end with?
Right.
I mean, he could just drive around and kill. Like he hasn't killed anyone yet, but they don't know what's in those buildings.
You're probably going to be able to not have anyone die as long as a bullet doesn't get them.
Where's the hospital? They can't empty a hospital. You know, if there's people in hospital beds.
You're going to lose your entire town if you don't stop this fucking thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a slow moving tornado.
Right.
The Dozenado.
Sci-fi channel. Be all over that.
Call that dude from Ian Ziering or something.
Ian Ziering?
Sure.
Off of 90210.
I don't know who had that in the pool, but you just won all the money. Like, which one in 90210 are they going to talk about? And while we're on the subject, pee hole. Let's just say that.
Pee holes? Yeah.
Do you think he had a pee hole in the dozer?
Oh, I'm sure he had a pee hole.
Or he just like pissed everywhere?
Yeah, like a big Gatorade bottle, probably. Ian Ziering's hair was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, you're like, I'm 17.
But his hair was like
39.
It looked like noodles.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I was like, you're supposed to be a heartthrob, Ian Ziering.
He was definitely the third best of those. I mean, Jason Priestley,
as an
Luke
8-year-old
Perry.
boy, I say no, you're not. I don't know how it was when that show came out.
But you knew what dudes you were into.
But like, I knew I wasn't into Ian Ziering.
You're like, nice try, Fox.
Yeah. Great sidekick in everything you're ever gonna be in.
But then they had Austin Green. You're like, oh my god, which one do I hate more?
I don't remember him at all.
He was like the little rapper one, and he dated.
Oh yeah.
He dated the blonde dorky one that was like the actual daughter of the guy who ran the show. Daisy off of Saved by the Bell.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, what are we talking about?
Way better than I do.
Marv is so mad at us in heaven.
It was a show my babysitter.
Marv is sitting on God's lap in heaven right now, listening to this, and he's like, "Can you get back to me? You guys haven't talked about me in like 2 minutes."
He's going to bring down the thunder on us.
Industrial size.
Yeah.
Those propane tanks.
Right.
But that didn't work. So then he starts going for the hardware store.
He gave up real quick on the...
Yeah.
Like, I felt like... I was like...
Well, in the Vin Diesel movies, it's usually the first bullet does it. You know, and you do like 2 or 3 bullets, and you haven't destroyed anything.
Yeah, fuck it.
Your boner starts to go down.
What would Vin do?
That's what I call my boner, my Killdozer.
I call him Vin Diesel. I call mine Vin.
Well, I'm going to start calling mine that now. Is that okay?
That's weird.
It is. I like it a lot.
I don't like it.
I'm going to vent up my diesel.
Oh, I don't like it at all.
But after he pushed out the scraper, that's when they saw like a big giant puff of smoke. And they think that is antifreeze, like whatever the hell, I don't know. There's antifreeze in engines, and apparently his like leaked out, or
they thought he had like a fuel somewhere. There was a leak,
and they could just tell that the bulldozer wasn't moving as hard. It was making more noise. It was a lot. It was more labored in its movement.
Yeah.
But he took out the whole front of the hardware store because the owner was on the board, and he's going
the
down.
Owner had one time passed one of the other guys in the mall.
Well, to Marv, he says in the tapes that after he lost in the court or whatever, they snickered at him. Anytime he would see someone from the board, they would snicker at him. He'd ride by on his snowmobile, and he could just see it in their little eyes that they were just...
He knows.
They acted like they got one over on him. All right?
And they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Marv couldn't stand for it. But one of the guys owned the hardware store. So he took out the complete front of the hardware store, and then he started going down the side of the hardware store. And what a lot of people didn't know, that the hardware store had a basement.
Right.
And everything else that he's been doing probably didn't have a basement. Their plants, or like the concrete plant, the electric thing, all that. But once one of the tracks gets in the basement, he's stuck.
Yeah.
And at this point, the cops are like, they're just getting ready. They said that they were just pairing up with people like, all right, he's going to come out shooting. Like, he's going to start shooting his guns. Like, it's not, like everything we've been through, like what's going to happen now. But then they just heard a single gunshot, and they, pretty much figured, Marv probably killed himself, and they couldn't gain entry to the thing. They tried. multiple explosions. It wouldn't do anything. And then finally they brought in a blowtorch and they cut into the air conditioning unit. And then they threw in, they that's when they got in there and they saw that he killed himself. He put, I think, a 357 to the roof of his mouth and pulled the trigger and he killed himself.
Yeah, they threw like a flash grenade or something.
Yeah, they threw a flash grenade in there.
Really make sure.
Yeah, like God could be in there with him. He does have the strength of God.
I'm shocked that he didn't rig up the Killdozer to blow up.
Yeah, more or something at his house or
something.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that he didn't think of a way out that caused more destruction.
But they said it lasted a little over 2 hours. He did $7 million worth of damage. And they immediately, as immediately as they could, they took the dozer and they sent like all these different scrap yards to take it completely apart.
Yeah, because they don't want anybody having souvenirs.
Yeah, they don't want, and it's already been like, obviously they built one for the documentary, for the reenactments, but like other people have built one since, but that's what they didn't want. They didn't want like a shrine to Marv.
Right.
And so there's not much mystery to this one. It's just, like I said, my mystery is, like, what happened to this dude? They just made him such a little bitch.
Yeah, like...
Don't have heroes.
I wonder what, Let me see if I can find out. So he was born, like you said, 1951.
South Dakota, 1951, October 28th.
Moved to town...
91, I think he moved to Colorado. He left the Air Force. It doesn't even say if he retired the Air Force. Like, was he kicked out of the Air Force? I mean, I just feel like this guy has probably always had issues with, like...
he was, like, the middle child.
I could see that.
Like,
Youngest.
I wonder if he's the something where he wasn't getting the attention.
He couldn't do what he wanted. There's someone always telling him no. Like, he seems like he really has a problem with authority figures.
Well, because it's his brother is the one. So after Marv records all these audio tapes, he mails them all to his brother.
Oh, okay.
Dakota.
I didn't even know that.
His brother that took the tapes, turned them into the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI then turned them into the Grand County Sheriff's Department, who then released the tapes. So there's about 2.5 hours.
I think I'm going to sit down and listen to the tapes. And I'm glad they released them.
Yeah.
Because I feel without that, he would be more of a martyr. And like he would be just like what I thought, where I was like, yeah, man, this fucking guy like had enough of everything. And he did. He had enough of everything. But like, he didn't do enough for everything, though. I don't know. Like, I just feel like he could have done so much better.
Yeah, it says that
just move out of that town.
Yeah, just go somewhere else.
Just sell the land and fucking go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, weed will be legal in about 15 years. You're in Colorado.
Yeah, it says that the police found a handwritten list of targets. That's later at some point. The list included he actually listed the buildings he was going to destroy.
Oh, wow.
Which had included the Catholic Church, which he didn't actually get to. And the names.
But God sent him.
But God sent him. Well, God doesn't like the Catholics.
Okay, all right. I don't know like who plays for who and all that, so I don't know.
And then there were the names of various people who had sided against him.
They snickered at him. Yeah.
Like, who knows what he took to as like a offense to.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been like the smallest.
Just anyone on the board that like didn't have a vote or something, or just.
So when you were saying earlier about you wonder what.
Political party.
So the notes, he held grudges over the zoning approval, of course. And one of the things he wrote is, I was willing to be reasonable until I had to be unreasonable. Sometimes
he sounds like a Vin Diesel movie.
Reasonable men must do unreasonable things. So the I became unreasonable quote has became adopted by,
don't say Proud Boys,
close, the Boogaloos. Have you know these guys?
I don't think I do know the Boogaloos.
They are just as big of a losers as Proud Boys, but more dangerous.
Okay. Wow. I mean, Proud Boys are pretty dangerous.
Yeah, so they're a far-right extremist group. Basically, they're a fucking militia. They wear, like, Hawaiian shirts.
Okay, I have seen the Hawaiian shirt thing.
Yeah. They are preparing for, and trying to start, the Second Civil War. Like, they're very active of trying to get that shit kicked off.
Jesus.
They are... I could be completely speaking out of my ass, but I'm assuming that they are partly related to or responsible for the guys that just got arrested today that were going to try to kidnap a mayor.
Okay, yeah.
In Michigan.
Yep, I saw that.
So I'm positive that's connected.
They're a bunch of boogaloos.
Unlike Antifa,
Uh-huh.
which is not an organization and does not have groups or leaders or anything like that.
Yeah.
These far-right assholes...
They're more of like an idea. They're like, we're just anti...
There's definitely people that would claim to be Antifa that are doing stupid shit that's not helping.
Uh-huh.
But there is no group.
Yeah.
There is no organization. These assholes, these far-right extremist groups like the Proud Boys... the Boogaloos, or the Proud Boys now are calling themselves
Leather Daddies?
Leathermen.
Leathermen!
Which is not
Leather Daddies!
You're still doing it, guys.
Yeah.
But these are very clearly groups. They give themselves names. They perform as units. They are groups. So, to all of you fucking idiots that are constantly trying to say Antifa needs something done about it.
Yeah.
There are real terrorist groups in the United States, but they're fucking white and they're on your racist ass side. So,
and they go to the courthouse and they protest there with guns.
So these guys that one of the groups that adopted this I'm unreasonable, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I became unreasonable. They had made plans back in March to go to one of the protests that were happening, and they were going to use the gathering and all of that as basically cover to... They were going to just murder cops.
Jesus.
And shit like that.
They just want chaos.
And they were going to try to start some shit. So, yeah, they were going to try to, storm government buildings, kill government officials... You know, but they're the good guys because they're Trump's boys.
They're pretty white.
So yeah, but that's what this guy has now. They love him.
I'm so glad I learned more about this guy too, though, just because
they look up he's a martyr for them.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them all.
Yeah. So yeah, when you watch this documentary,
Tread.
It's 2020.
Tread lightly.
It just came out this year.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I like it. I've seen it probably 3 or 4 times.
But when you watch it, if you're I don't know, if you've listened to this episode, if you watch it, you already know what's happening.
Yeah.
So I watched it without really knowing anything about it.
I didn't listen to this episode before I watched it.
That's good. I didn't either.
Good.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I'm gonna wait.
I could, but I won't.
But when I watched it, I was very at parts, very much yeah, man, they're just fucking Marv.
Fucking Marv, man. He just wants to.
These dudes need to just.
He just wants a snowmobile.
These fucking good old boys, you know. And then at a certain point, you're like, oh, Marv's a lunatic.
Yeah. At one point, there's 3 cops hiding behind what they call Jersey barriers. Mm-hmm. Usually they'll see.
Roadblocks.
Yeah, you'll see them on the roads and stuff in between the lanes.
Yeah.
And he just drove straight. He just drove straight for him.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 straight troopers that just nothing to do with any of it.
Right.
But once he started, he just...
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
You know, the damage to the property sucks, but it's... You know, luckily he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, And it's funny in the doc, the Thompson brothers are like, worst thing they did was destroy that bulldozer. They're like, we made a ton of money off that. We could still, we made our town famous.
Yeah.
And they were famous. I want to mention this. So that was June 4th, and this is a pretty big news media story for about a day. And then the next day, Ronald Reagan died. Because God was like, I'm having fun. First Marv, what else can I do? Bring up Ronnie.
Yeah.
And Ronald Reagan died. So that kind of...
It was a good day.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
So that kind of... It definitely took a lot of, the attention away from this story,
Yeah, it was a big story.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking crazy.
We were talking about it before we started. Not too long after, a few years later, a former military person ended up stealing a tank.
An actual tank,
An actual tank. And did some damage.
He fucked up a bunch of cars.
And they...
I would feel so good to do.
He said he just went in, he said he just walked on the army base, at night, they had left. There was some guys there doing some like overnight work on some stuff, and they left the gate open. So he just like walks right in. They said he started, like I didn't know this about tanks.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm assuming newer ones. They're like push starts.
Oh, really?
Like they don't have keys.
Yeah.
You just push the ignition.
Okay.
So he apparently had.
He knew how to push.
Yeah, but apparently like he had tried 2 or 3.
Oh, and then he got.
And for whatever reason they wouldn't work. So by the time he finally got to the 3rd or 4th one, whatever one worked, he was spotted, and they tried to get him, but he was just like nope, and started moving, and like they were kind of fucked at that point.
Yeah, once it starts moving, there's not unless you have another tank.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they had him there, but someone had to scramble, get into it, and that guy, yeah.
And then it's kind of fucked, like when they killed him, or like they finally get up on top and they get the hatch open, or whatever, and one of the guys just decides he leans in, shoots the dude through the bullet went through the neck. He kills him, and like people I guess were like
give him a chance to give up,
questioning if whatever, but I guess like his brother actually came out and was like no, the cop did the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, he was he intended to kill people and die.
So I didn't read much into that. I remember seen the footage, and it came up in my my studying of this story. But God didn't want me to look too much into that one.
Yeah, God was like, I got other plans for you, Joel.
He's like, you wrote a lot about this guy.
We're going to make the Killdozer.
Ooh, I like that. That's the name of my dick.
I didn't want to do that. I was trying to give you a cool wrestling name.
Oh.
All right, well, yes, that's the story of Marv.
Marv Heemeyer.
Marv and the Killdozer. Marv Heemeyer.
And Doug and Scott.
Yeah, everybody check out that documentary. But again, thank you all for listening. We will be back in 2 weeks with a new episode.
Yep.
And it is going to be...
It's going to be a big one.
We already gave it away the last episode.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So it's going to be an awesome one. We're looking forward to it. Again, thank you to Travis Graham.
Yep.
For the awesome new spooky October artwork. And thanks to all of the listeners. And, leave us some comments. Leave us some feedback on what you think. And, again, if you're on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review us.
Rate? Did you say rate?
Rate with a T.
Okay.
You got anything before we go?
Thanks for listening.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Snazzer, here,